Hi, this is Eric, and today I'm going to be giving a quick little rundown of how I made the two covers and two-page spread of my magazine, Fake Paint, which showcases one digital artist every week. The most important thing that I'm going to focus on right away is composition. I want my cover to be eye-catching, and I want it to be bright and colorful, and mainly I don't want any white on the cover at all. Even the boxes I'm putting on the cover are going to be transparent just to draw the eye to certain places on the cover, so I don't want anything sinking into the background too much that people don't see it when they walk by it or something. Mainly I want to not distract from the art that I'm using. I don't want to do a disservice to the artist since they're supposedly, in the ideal scenario, allowing me to use their art. You don't want to distract too much from that, and white against art, or against on top of anything that's not white, especially dark colors, like this picture has a lot of dark colors, is going to be really distracting, so I don't want to use a lot of white. So you'll see I kind of blend the logo from the magazine to the sky, and it's going to be not only not distracting, but it actually ends up looking pretty nice because I fiddle around with the layer properties a little. That's after I erase some of it though and kind of give it a artistic painterly look with some paintbrushes that I found on DeviantArt. There's tons of packs of free brushes that you can get and just load into Photoshop and use over the eraser or the paintbrush, which is really good for achieving different kinds of looks. So I think the first one I tried didn't work out very well. It was just a set of paintbrushes. The next one I tried was a set of brushes that were supposed to be, I guess, used for blood splatters or whatever, but they're really just paintbrushes that are red, honestly. So without the color, just using them to erase, they look much better, I think. It looks like paint. So you can still tell the words are fake paint in the logo, but the important thing is that it's not distracting from the artwork on the cover. The next step in the process here is going to be crediting the artist on the cover. This is really important because the artist is supposedly allowing us to use their artwork in confidence, meaning that we have to make sure, first of all, they get credit, and second of all, that we display their artwork in a way that's not going to embarrass them or make them lose face in a way. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to try to color match the artist's name to part of the image in order to keep kind of a visual theme going on. Again, I don't want any white, especially at the bottom of the page, since the bottom of the page is fairly dark based on the art I'm using. And if I do have any white, like the transparent box I'm using, I want it to be over the artist's name, because that's what I want people to pay attention to when they look at the bottom of the page, is the artist's name. Following this, the next part of the process here is going to be adding a little more noise, I guess, to the cover. Right now it's really plain. I'm going to skip ahead to where I put in some of the artist's other work. I really just imported it and dragged it onto the screen, but a lot of time passed in between there and what artwork I was going to choose, so I decided to cut it out. The thing that I'm not noticing right now that I mentioned earlier in the video is that I don't want any white in this at all. And I think that's what I'm going to be doing here soon, is replacing all the white. So I don't want that middle image because it has white. I could crop out the white in the back with the background eraser, but it's just going to leave the center of the image, and that's not going to work for the composition that I'm going for, which is going to be making these look like standing tiles reflecting on a glass platform, I guess, below them. So again, I don't want that middle image. I don't want any white. To kind of get this shifted perspective, all you gotta do is go to Edit and Perspective. It's pretty easy. To get the reflection, I'm duplicating each layer and flipping it vertically, and creating a floor beneath each one by just putting it at the bottom and rotating it if I need to. And then I plan on erasing the bottom, so it looks like the reflection kind of filters out towards the bottom of the image. And I'm matching all the opacities because I don't want something to be more opaque than something next to it, because that's distracting. Again, you want to go for kind of visual unity, don't want anything to be distracting. And that's pretty much the front cover. And now we're going to move on, I believe, to the composition of the rest of the magazine. So So when compositing the rest of the magazine, the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to block out the pages and what I want to do on each page. So I found a good horizontal image from the artist that I'm going to use on the upper half of this page here. It's not exactly half, but it's pretty close. Again, the artwork is the focus, it's an art magazine. The small transparent boxes I'm color matching to the artwork, so it's not, you know, completely standoffish. And the boxes are for pull-out quotes. If you know what a pull-out quote is, it's when you break up the text. You don't want a wall of text in your magazine because it discourages people from reading. And you also don't want text to the left of an image. So I'm gonna have pull-out quotes so that it breaks up the page a little bit and doesn't look so intimidating to read. Again, it's an art magazine. People aren't picking it up to read a lot. They kind of want to look at the art, they want to leaf through it and see pictures. So the quotes are really just there to break up the wall of text and not be distracting from the artwork. So in the interest of time here, I'm going to skip ahead. All I've done is copy and paste some lorem ipsum, which is the default text people use for testing layouts and how they work with text. Again, this is really just to show how I'm going to use pull-out quotes. One key thing about pull-out quotes is that you want to have a different font than you're using for the rest of the page. Preferably something in italics or bold, or both. But you want it to be kind of scripty, basically not something that you'd see on the rest of the page, because you want it to distract from the massive amount of text on the page. I'm using a small font for everything else just to see how intimidating it really is if everything's crammed onto the page in text. It's not too bad the way it is right now. It's a lot of text, but no magazine's going to print in 14 font, and it's not going to be that close together. So the pull-out quotes, again, are there to just break it up, add some like breadth to the page so that no one feels overwhelmed when they're looking at it. And I match the boxes from the pull-out quotes to the art, because I don't want the quotes or the text to distract from the artwork since it's an art magazine. And then I'm just going to cut ahead because the rest of this is just copying and pasting in the lorem ipsum to fill out the pages so I can see how it looks when we're done. Now that we've copy and pasted in the lorem ipsum, we can see how the composition looks with text filling it. Everything doesn't look too overwhelming. It's still a lot of text, but again, it's a magazine, and again, there's not going to be this much text in an actual art magazine. Right now, I'm filling out the area where the postage is going to be. Again, magazines have postage, so something's going to be covered. You want to make sure it's not an important part of the image, especially in an art-centered magazine. You want to make sure nothing that the artist obviously spent a lot of time on is covered. And I just used a regular barcode font I grabbed offline, or off the internet. And I'm going to use my transparent text boxes again, no white on the covers, to signal that the next issue is going to feature an artist named Yume. And I'm going to change the image I'm using because I want to use an image from the next issue, obviously. The one I have now is just sort of a placeholder. So I'm going to copy and paste in Yume's artwork, and I'm going to crop it so that it fits on the page nicely and that it's within the proportions. And I'm going to relayer everything. Also, I'm going to cut out the black in the next issue Yume part, because black is kind of distracting against the blue. I'd rather have it just be transparent. I'm using the background eraser tool. The background eraser tool just gets rid of every kind of color that you're clicking on. So if you're clicking on white, it's going to get rid of all the white. And that's pretty much it. Thanks for watching.